Hello there, welcome to So Much Sewing. My name is Catherine. If this is your first time here, a very warm welcome. And to my returning viewers, thank you for coming back to see me again today. Today what we're talking about is a couple of things. I have a bunch of patterns that I've purchased recently, all secondhand, unused patterns, but secondhand. And I wanted to show those to you, and I had that already planned. But then I watched a video from Katrina from Create Something Pretty. Katrina and I started our channels sort of around about the same time, and we've been supporting each other throughout the last 3 years or however long it's been. And so Katrina's always sort of been in my wheelhouse. So I watched one of her videos, and it was about making a bunch of mini capsules. Instead of making a whole sort of seasonal capsule, just making little mini capsules. For example, a pair of trousers and a top and a jacket, or a skirt and a jacket, or something like that, just little mini capsules. She had one for bathing wear, one for, like I say, a skirt or a dress, what have you. And I just thought that was absolutely genius. And I messaged her and I said, oh my gosh, I have about 3 times on this channel spent so long putting together a seasonal wardrobe and showed you guys and made some of the items that I talked about, but made hardly any of them. And so I just thought this mini capsule was genius, and I told her so. And she said, well, why don't we do something together, a little bit of a collaboration kind of thing. So we had a little chat over on Instagram, and we decided that it's just very easy-ozy. You can join in if you would like to, or don't if you don't want to, but we're not putting any pressure on ourselves. Just over the next sort of 2, 3, 4 months, I don't know, we're just going to make these little capsules. And Katrina has made a hashtag over on Instagram, which I'll pop down here. And if you would like to join along with us, please do so. Please make your items and post them on that hashtag. Tag both Katrina and I so that we can see what you're doing. There's no prize, there's no time frame, there's no pressure. But I just think, as I say, it's so genius. Use a ready-to-wear item as your base or as one of the items. You don't have to make everything from scratch. And I think that's the thing has made me come unstuck before, is I've thought, I've got to make everything from scratch. I've got to make the whole entire wardrobe. But no, be kind to yourself. Grab an item that you've already made and love, but think, I really need something to go with that. And then find the perfect top or the perfect jacket to go with that dress. Or use a ready-to-wear item. For example, I've got a black and white long singlet t-shirt dress that I've had for years and years. I wear it a lot, and I would like more things to wear with it. Hopefully you will join along with us. You don't have to. My channel, and I'm sure Katrina's, is not going to be all about this capsule collection over the next 3 or 4 months. We're just going to go about our daily lives, our daily sewing lives, but keeping that in the back of our mind, knowing that we do want to create these little mini capsules. They're basically outfits. Create an outfit that you would like to wear, post it on this hashtag down below, tag her and I, and let's just have some fun. Just make life easy for ourselves. Life's too hard, too many responsibilities, too many constraints on our time. Let's just make life easy. So that said, I'm going to now show you these patterns that I have been purchasing over the last few months, probably really. They are all secondhand, unused, but secondhand. In New Zealand, a lot of people will try and sell secondhand patterns for a lot of money. A Butterick or a Simplicity will probably sell, or a Quick Sew even could sell for brand new, maybe $24. And a lot of people will try and sell these secondhand for sort of $12.95, that sort of price. And I just think that's a little bit unreasonable, guys. But I've found a couple of people who are selling patterns for $5, $5.50. I can get on board with that. So I have bought a few. As I say, I've been buying them over the last 2 or 3 months, but after my chat with Katrina about making a capsule collection, I have been now thinking about these in relation to that, and I think some of these are actually going to, not all of them, some of them are going to work really well. For example, these trousers that I'm wearing today, I've purchased those from a store. I love these trousers. I've worn them a lot, but I would like more things to wear with them. So, you know, just as an example, these trousers are going to be the base for one of my sort of mini capsules. Now that I have seen the pictures of me wearing these trousers today, I'm not in love with the outfit, the whole outfit. I'm not in love with the top that's underneath. This is actually my Staley tee by LB Textiles. I'm not in love with how it's looking at the moment, so I need to make more tops, and some of these are going to go with these trousers. I also have the Susie dress by Hubbarding Patterns. I made that probably a couple of years ago, and if you have watched me before, you'll know that I love that dress, and I'm always looking for things to put with it. Often I'll wear this with that dress, but I have this fabric here. It's probably, I'm sure it's entirely man-made, but obviously it's all holey, and I just would like to make something similar to this to throw over the top of that. I haven't got a pattern here that would do that, but I do have one in mind. I think maybe the Mila jumper by Tammy Handmade. This doesn't fray at all, so I think I can leave the edges raw and they'll curl up, and I think this might be cute made into that, worn over my Susie dress. So that's another example of how you could make a mini capsule work for you without spending too much time and effort and hard slog, and without thinking about it too much. So the first pattern to show you is this Catherine Tilton. The Tilton sisters always have interesting designs, don't they? And this one is no different. So many opportunities for colour blocking, for using up scraps of fabric. I love a lovely big sloppy pouchy pocket like that, and so I think that would be a really useful top to have in my wardrobe. This pattern here is also right up my alley. In fact, I've already started making this, and I've been making this in this aubergine rayon jersey. And this is a fabric that, it's a cotton, I believe, which I purchased. Which way around does it go? Probably doesn't matter. Which I purchased secondhand. Well, it's not been used, but I purchased, and it's actually coming up a lot brighter on the screen. But these go together fabulously in real life. And so that's what I am making this top out of at the moment. I'm nearly done. I'm doing the hem at the moment, but I want to do the hem on my cover stitch machine, and these sort of pointy things are not great for the cover stitch machine, so I might straighten that off. But anyway, we'll see. You might see next week what happens with that one. This is actually a bit of a departure from, well, it sort of is, it sort of isn't. I do love a slip dress. But generally I don't wear anything underneath my slip dresses. I'll wear them on top, wear items on top of a slip dress. But this is a sort of a pinafore-y slip dress. I think it's got a zip down the back, but I probably would eliminate the zip so I can pop it over my head, you know, make it roomy so that it can pop over my head. I mean, it looks pretty roomy there, doesn't it? So I'm not even sure you would need the zip even if you didn't make it roomier, but I especially like this one here, this sort of a cargo type look, pinafore really dress, and so that is on my radar to make. I like the idea of wearing a longer sleeve t-shirt underneath that. This is another handy top, another knit top. Oh, that dress was woven, by the way, you probably figured that out. Another handy knit top. My intention would be to make this bat wing one here. I seem to have got a few patterns with these sort of pointy bits on them at the moment, and I have made a wintry top with pointy bits on it that I've worn a lot. I'm not sure if I want to bring the pointy bits into my summer, but we'll see. Obviously, you can put as they've done here, a different fabric on the back if you were making that short sleeve. If I was doing that, I'd want to lengthen the sleeve, so I'd have to have a look and see how I might do that, but I like this high-low version here. This is a woven dress. I love a empire line on my body. I was going to use the word flattering. I think it's quite flattering, but that's a very controversial word these days, really. And so I guess the bottom line is I just like the way it looks on my body. So there it is there. I like the interesting pleats down the front there and the high empire and the much roomier through the hip there. I have plans to make this version but lengthen it into much more of it'll probably be a high-low, so it'll be at the back probably roundabout down at my ankles almost, and in the front it will be higher, sort of maybe mid-calf, and short sleeved, or rather no sleeves, so that I can wear a loose and billowy duster over the top of it. And my other idea is to make this version but make the sleeves shorter, and make that into just a little tunic top to go over these trousers that I'm wearing, over jeans, over maybe even leggings. Actually, I have some fabric in mind. I have this amazing linen, which I really, really love. Love those colours. And I think that dress made in this would be really nice. I think probably if I made the dress, as I say, longer sleeved, possibly even made the dress longer, or even cocoon it at the bottom, like the Me and Miss Moore dress I made recently, where you put darts up the skirt to balloon it. So yeah, oh gosh, that is an exciting idea for me. Guys, I'm not going to link these below because, you know, like this one I'm sure is out of print. A lot of them are probably out of print. You know, these are just patterns that have interested me. They may not interest you at all, but I actually love this. I love me a beautiful oversized rayon floaty shirt. This reminds me of happy times in the late 80s, early 90s, when I was wearing big floppy rayon oversized shirts. I would want to raise this at the back because I have a high waist, and probably about where it's sitting on that gal there is about my widest place at the back, which we don't want to accentuate. So I'll raise that. I love the shape on the back of the shirt there with the raglan sleeve. And so, yeah, I see that in my future. This pattern here is probably actually going to be next on my make list. It's another Tilton pattern, and it's got, again, so many different options for using up scraps of fabric. You know, different sleeves, different pockets. You can see they've used different panels here. Nice, a much smaller but still a cute little slouchy pocket on the side there, that I'm really looking forward to making that. So you'll probably see that on my channel soon. And this is another Sandra Betzina pattern, and now that I hold it up and look at it, I'm pretty sure I've already got this in my stash somewhere, so I may well have two of these. But anywho, nice, relaxed, oversized cardi. I love a big shawl collar like that. I like this detail in the back. Can you see it's a sort of a crossover in the back there? you either leave that bottom panel off, and so it would be a bit shorter at the back than at the front, or you can put this bottom panel on and it's a bit of a crossover there. So that's, you know, a nice easy breezy. It says, oh, it's wanting something a bit heavier, double knit, fleece, sweater knits and boiled wool, it says, but I'm sure you could make that in something a bit lighter if you wanted to. And the last pattern to show you is one I actually purchased brand new. I purchased this from Pattern Postie when they were having a sale. Pattern Postie is a New Zealand store who mostly does patterns, big four patterns. She does have, or she did have the odd indie pattern company, but I'm not sure if she still does. She also has notions, buttons, threads, pins, all that sort of stuff. And so I like to buy, if I'm buying a brand new pattern, I like to buy it from Bronwyn at Pattern Postie. It says it's average difficulty. And again, I love all the different, well, there's probably only a couple of different fabrics in there, but I love the way they've put this together. This is actually a vest. Again, I'm not a big vest person, but I may make this because I like the way it sits close around the arm there and the knit sleeve is poking out. I love this gathered bit here, and there. Look at that. I just think that's, again, a good way to use up some scraps, and I love it sort of tone on tone like that, sort of monochrome look, rather than glaringly different prints, but you can of course do that. And this is just the jacket version. I don't think it looks as special as this one, so I would try and emulate the way this one's been put together, but I think that's a great pattern also. And I've been wanting, I seem to be obsessed these days with jackets and tops. That's my little obsession, and I think that will fit well into this whole mini capsule thing that I'm sort of working on with Katrina from Create Something Pretty. So that is me for today. I hope you found some of those patterns interesting. Maybe you will rifle through your own pattern stash and see if there are some patterns there that you would like to resurrect. If you're buying secondhand commercial patterns, where do you do it? I buy them on Trade Me, which is an online selling platform like eBay or Craigslist or Gumtree. Or do you prefer to go to an op shop, which is what we call them here in New Zealand, an opportunity shop or a charity shop or a Goodwill store or a secondhand store, and do you like to rifle through them, actually touch them and feel them and have a look at which ones you would like to pick up? Or do you go to garage sales? Do you call them garage sales in your neck of the woods, where people are just selling things in a pile out of their garage or on their front driveway? Anyway, that's all I've got for you today. Please stay tuned for some more sort of mini capsule ideas. Please go look at this hashtag down here on Instagram. Please go check out Katrina, and I look forward to seeing you next time. See you later. Bye.